It was a bit weird because Viv headed it back across and I just thought this is sort of there to be won. And it was sort of like a defender's
tackle finish.
A defender's tackle. And I just thought, like, I'm just going to try and get a toe on it. And like, I felt the contact, but obviously I'd sort of fallen over. I got up and I was like, oh my goodness, it's gone in.
The official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.
The goalkeeper came, but did it get there? And City have got the lead. And it's scrambled in. And Layzell, the quickest to react, poking the ball over the line.
Naomi, welcome to the podcast. Great to have you in here. We'll start off, obviously, you were back in the squad recently against Aston Villa. Fantastic to see you back out there. How has your recovery been so far? And I assume you're really excited to get back out there again more regularly.
Yeah, I think now I'm just excited to get back on the training pitch and be with the girls, get back in the team and hopefully get some minutes. And I think it's been a bit bitty coming back from my injury. I think there was a few setbacks that were a bit frustrating, but yeah, I'm just sort of glad to sort of be finally past that. And I think hopefully the only way is up from now.
Is this the longest injury you've had so far?
Yeah, and I mean, I had an injury when I was a lot younger, which was 6 months maybe, with a broken foot. But sort of since I've been playing senior football, yeah, this is probably the longest one.
Okay.
Yeah. So you came back in, was it Abu Dhabi the first time you kind of were back with the squad regularly?
Well, I mean, before Christmas, I was back in the squad against Barcelona. So I travelled away with the team and was an unused sub on the bench. And then went away to Abu Dhabi with the team and sort of trained in the week, but then had a little bit of a setback at the end of the week. So then wasn't able to be in the squad for the Ipswich and then both United games, which was frustrating not to be in the squad for the derby. But yeah, I mean, hopefully now back in the squad.
Yeah. I know it's a bit of a cliche saying it, but I imagine you get those setbacks and it's obviously a disappointment, but then when you do get back in again, it makes it all the more sweet, I imagine, the hard work you've had to put in and the difficulties you've had.
Yeah, I mean, I think you quickly forget about sort of the tough days and stuff and how difficult it was maybe when you were injured and how frustrating as soon as you're back with the team. And like, yeah, there's a bit of, maybe I'm a bit rusty, but sort of once you get back into training a few times and sort of get some confidence and then you're back in and it just sort of feels like you move past it and you're thinking, oh, it feels like the time's kind of stopped and now I was with the team and then I wasn't, but now I'm in the team again. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Is there anyone, because there's been obviously a couple of players that have been in a similar situation, getting back to full fitness. I imagine sort of having those players around you and all supporting each other and hearing about the good parts and also listening about the bad parts has maybe helped you out as well. Yeah,
I mean, it's good to sort of, I mean, it's not good to go through injuries with other players because you want everyone to be fit.
Yeah.
But I think if you happen to have players that are injured at the same time, it's sort of nice to be able to experience things. And yeah, if they're having a bit of a bad day, like you sort of think, well, I can empathise with them. And like, if they need me to listen, I can. But equally, if they just want to get on with it, go for it. And I think also when you get little milestones and maybe you're running for the first time or I'm kicking the ball again for the first time and you can sort of share it with the rehabbers, I think it's great to share it with the whole team. But when they've sort of seen you in the gym and doing the same exercise for 4 weeks and they're like, oh, is she going to progress?
Yeah.
And then they see you on the pitch and they're so happy for you. Like when Risa was running the other day and we were all there able to see it, and it's just like you just are so happy for them because you know that it's really difficult, and to be able to progress and for them to sort of be one step closer to being back on the pitch, I think to be able to share that is really nice.
Yeah. Is that ringing true for you, Nedum? Because I know you had was it an MCL you had when you were quite young?
Yeah, to be fair. The longest injury I had was like 3-4 months. So it's like long, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that long because some people are going through far worse, like people having to learn to walk again and so on. So it can be tough. And I think the milestones things like is key because the steps, all of a sudden you don't realise how important it is to learn to be able to jog again. Then every day it's just like a little bit quicker, it's a little bit quicker. I'm in the gym, I can finally do some stuff again. And even being out there on the grass, like, people give you a round of applause sometimes because you've been in some dark rooms for a long time.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's just to get back out there. And I think, as Naomi's saying, you just want to be out there, stay out there, and be able to make a difference.
Yeah, and it's a really exciting time that you're coming back as well. I mean, we're in all 4 competitions still, so I suppose for you it's just so exciting looking at the months ahead as well.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of fixtures coming up. I think before the international break, we've got another 4 fixtures, and then quickly back into Champions League then in March, and kicking off with, hopefully, fingers crossed, the Conti Cup final if we go through the next round. And then, yeah, I think just then kicking on with the league and doing what we can. But yeah, things are coming thick and fast, and to be able to be back in the squad and hopefully help the team, then yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it.
What are your goals, say, personally, between now and the end of the season?
I think it's different for me because when I first came in, my expectation compared to then when I'd played a few games was very different. So when I first came in, I didn't know what to expect. I probably thought I was going to be a bench warmer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I was quite young coming into a team that had been really successful. And yeah, so now I think because I had a little taste of success before I got injured, I think, yeah, I need to sort of set an expectation of I want to be back in the squad. I want to be on the team helping the girls like to win games. And I think that's the goal. But also I have to be a bit forgiving of myself if that doesn't happen, because we are in a competitive squad and it's high stakes, especially coming towards the second half of the season. And you can't just be gifted chances. You have to sort of earn them and be deserving of them. And I think that's the aim. And I want to be in and around the team and involved, hopefully. But yeah.
I suppose from being at Bristol at such a young age, though, you've kind of got that, even though you're 20, aren't you, still?
Yeah.
So, like, you've got so much experience already, like 4 full years of playing regularly. So I imagine that, yes, you are young. Yes, it's about sort of developing and learning still, but you are in a position that probably few other players are in terms of that experience at the top level. So when you do get those opportunities, you seem to be taking them really well.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think when Gareth brought me in, he said, you've played a lot of senior football. And I think it shows. So, I mean, going into games, I think because I've got some experience under my belt, maybe it's not as daunting, or I'm used to the pressure. Maybe it's a slightly different pressure being at a bigger club. But because I've experienced that, I can take from those experiences and like sort of try and just be myself and express myself on the pitch rather than having to think about too much. I don't know, any decisions or pressure and being perfect.
Are you 21 on the 28th of February or the 1st of March?
28th of February. I know. People ask me this all the time.
Okay. And as you sort of hit that date, how do you reckon you're going to look back at, say, your career so far? Where you thought you should be or where you want to be?
I mean, I think looking back, I'll probably be pretty happy. I think I've had quite an interesting journey in terms of my first season being a relegation and then like playing quite a bit in the next season and being involved in, I think we finished 3rd. And I mean, Liverpool won the championship that season, sort of was storming ahead. But then getting promoted the next season and then having like quite a heavy involvement in that and sort of feeling the pride of getting promotion with a team that like you love all the girls that are in the team. And then to get another relegation was tough, but then to get a really exciting move for me to Man City, and then being in and around a team that is trying to win titles and perform at the highest level. I think looking back, if you said to me when I was 16 joining Bristol City, oh, you'll be playing against Barcelona in the Champions League in 4.5 years' time, I think I would have laughed at you, to be honest. But yeah, I think I'm really proud of where I've been and sort of hopefully where I'm going to go.
Yeah, rightly so. We asked James McAtee something when he was on the podcast quite similar, because he obviously got promoted with Sheffield United and then relegated the season after, and similar for you at Bristol. Do you feel like you learned more in that promotion season or in the season after where you haven't quite been able to stay up as a team?
I think it's hard because you learn different things from the different seasons. I think in a season where you're promoted, I think you're learning how to win as a team. I think there are times where you get setbacks, so you think, oh no, we've lost a game, and it's hard to then not spiral, and you don't want to overthink things. You want to sort of find a way to then get back into a flow and get into a winning streak again. And I think learning from that, and also having a similar thing of different players being injured or the team changing and environments changing in that season where we won the league, you learn a lot from that, but also you learn a lot from yourself, about yourself, when you're losing games and when things are hard, because it would be easy to sort of be disheartened and, oh, I'm not going to do my extra exercises before training because like we're going to lose anyway. And I think just to have those good habits and be a professional in those moments where things are really tough. And like we had one of probably the toughest seasons that you can have, in terms of we only won one game all season. And a lot of the joy you get from football is from winning games. And I think when you're not winning, how can you sort of find the joy in the little things and why you're still playing?
For you as a person, do you prefer playing a game as a favourite or as an underdog? What brings out the best in you?
I think that's tough. I think for me Man City are often going to be the favourite. And I think to play to people's expectations and to live up to what people think and actually surpass that and really outperform maybe what people think you could be. Whereas I think, say, when we played Barcelona, we probably weren't the favourite, and I think maybe the thing of proving people wrong, and sort of especially in those crunch games where people are like, oh, like they play pretty football, but you know when it matters, are they gonna turn up? And I think to be able to sort of say, yes, we are, like we're gonna turn up and we're gonna win when it matters. I think there's something about proving people wrong. That is really exciting.
You brought up Barcelona. Let's
I mean, I don't want to bring it up.
I was waiting. Come on.
No.
I was sneaking in at the back post. We've obviously spoke about it loads, and me and Nedum have chatted about it on podcast previously. But I mean, having the main character in here to talk about it is a bit special.
Yeah.
Just out of interest, because we're obviously in the changing room. Where's your seat?
Just behind.
Just behind. Okay, so let's set the scene. You're in here, you've come in, you've found out that you're playing, for one, which I imagine came morning of, day before maybe?
Day before the game.
Yeah. So when you're sat there, what can you remember from the build-up to the game? How were you feeling? Because, Barcelona in our stadium's pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, it's tough to remember back because a lot happened that night. But I think, the day before I was sort of bricking it a little bit because I didn't expect to be playing. Gaz didn't speak to me before saying, okay, you're going to be starting. I went into the meeting and was none the wiser that my name would be on the screen, sort of thing. But then, you sort of just have to prepare as you can. I think when I was in the change room before the game, I was a bit nervous, as you would be. But I think it's just, I was trying to remember, okay, this is my role. Like when their winger does this, like I do that kind of thing. Or if Mary does that, then I do this. And I think when I just brought it back to what my role is in the team and just trying to execute that and not trying to overthink too much about, I don't know, the crowd or the pressure or anything like that, I think it does help. But equally, it's easier said than done.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the thing when I think, because it was Alexia Putellas is up against you. She's literally like 2-time Ballon d'Or winner facing up against you. But you mentioned Mary. I thought the two of you worked so well together down that flank. Like, how important was it to communicate with her, make sure she was doing her defensive work, and also equally you were supporting her going forward as well?
Yeah, I think the whole team worked so well on that evening, and I think, having Mary in front of me and then Lai next to me, and then having Yui covering and like doing all the magic she does in the middle. I think just like, Mary's also a bit of a workhorse. Like she'll run for the whole game, and I think having her, who I know, I don't know, she's going to win the ball back, and then she's going to keep the ball, and she's going to probably do something with it. And I think if you have trust in the people around you, then it will only give you more confidence to sort of do what you do.
How many times have you seen your goal back?
Actually, not that many times.
Really?
Yeah, I tried not to watch it too many times, but no, I think a few people sent it to me, or no, I think I've watched the reel a few times.
I'd be dining out on that.
Yeah,
I'd still be
absolutely.
watching it now.
Absolutely.
I remember you seeing on our TikTok, actually, you saying that you didn't actually know it had gone in at first.
No, yeah, it was a bit weird because Viv headed it back across, and I just thought this is sort of there to be won. And it was sort of like a defender's tackle, and I just thought, like, I'm just gonna try and get a toe on it, and like, I felt the contact, but obviously I'd sort of fallen over, and the player was also in front of me, and then I got up and I was like, oh my goodness, it's gone in. But yeah, I mean,
how many goals have you scored in your career?
just one.
That was the first.
Just the one and only. But,
Okay.
yeah.
So do you know, with that sort of for the experiences that you've had there, I take it you go up for every set piece, for whichever club you're at?
I mean, when I was at Bristol City, I was, especially when I was younger, I was often the one back defending
halfway
because they
line.
thought, oh, like she knows how to defend, like she's going to stop a counter attack. But then as I've sort of got a bit older and maybe grown into my body a bit more, they're like, okay, she can win a duel in the box.
Okay.
So
Might have
we'll put her
stayed
out
up if
there.
you'd been in there for corners in that season, if you'd had a
I
chance
know.
to go forward. Eh?
I know, but no.
If you say so. Yeah.
Maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe.
Definitely, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Hey, we'll never know. I thought it was really nice about that game as well, because like you were playing really well anyway, and then you got your goal, and you could just see not just yourself but the whole team kind of went, hang on, like it was just really nice seeing you all grow into it as well, and it seemed like you really enjoyed it as well in a weird way.
Yeah, I think especially after the game, having spoken to some of the girls, I think Viv said to me, oh, that's one of the best matches of football I've ever played. And I mean, for Viv to say that, she's played a lot of football. And I think both teams just being so competent and like successful in their actions and having so much quality, that I think it ended up just being a really good competition, because it wasn't, okay, sometimes when Man City play, it's like the other team's sort of in a mid-block and you're thinking, are they going to be able to break them down? But when both teams are trying to high press and be aggressive and then be composed on the ball and create good chances, someone's not trying to lump the ball forward and get flick-ons. I mean, sometimes you do need to do that. But I think because both teams were trying to play in such a style that it complemented each other, but also it was who was going to be better on the day at that style of play. And I think, it was a fun game, yeah.
I think you said something similar before, Nedum. It was City won it. It wasn't Barcelona losing it.
No,
it
not
was
at all.
It was the way that City played that made
100%,
it.
yeah. From my perspective and the perspective of many people, like to watch City like go toe to toe with the reigning like champions at that time, and to make them look human. I think there's so much credit that needs to be given for that. And it's such an important game. It's amazing, like, she scored in it as well.
Yeah.
She's
Didn't
only
just
seen it back
score.
a couple of times.
I know.
She scored in it.
I know.
Genuinely amazing. What a game. What a day.
You didn't just score either, did you? I mean, do you remember the pass? You played through for Bunny.
excellent. Yes, I remember it all. It was. It's a great way to start the season. Let's just say that
It was brilliant. I mean, with that pass, is that something that you maybe worked on as fullbacks, looking for that run, or was it just one that you saw the gap and thought, right, play it through?
I mean, I will give credit to Gaz and the coaches, because at half time
You don't have to.
They did say at half time that if their centre back gets drawn to Mary in that case, then there will be space for Bunny to run in behind. And I thought, if it happens and I see it, like, I'll play it. And then I saw it, so then I played it, and then Bunny scored. So
Some pass as well. What did Bunny have to say? Did you chat to her after or anything? I imagine she was pretty pleased with it.
yeah, no, she was. I think because there was another one in the first half where sort of I played her in, but it was called offside. I mean, I don't know if it was offside, but I don't think it was. But
I don't know, but it definitely wasn't.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
But I think she was sort of just like, oh, you're actually like, you're playing me in behind and you're playing me the ball. And like, I think she was just, I mean, she's obviously buzzing that she scored and we won the game. But no, I think she then spoke to me, I think the other day, and was like, oh, my mum keeps asking, when's Layzell going to be back? When's Layzell? Because she was passing me the ball, and I was like, that's so funny that your mum's saying that.
Number one fan.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Let's look ahead to the Champions League games coming up, because we've obviously got the draw coming up, and then I think the semi-final draw happens after the quarterfinal, like we did with the League Cup. If you don't want to answer this, don't worry. But who would you want out of the? Because I think we've got Chelsea, Arsenal, or Lyon.
Grenade of a question.
I know. You can say no and leave it if you want.
Of a question.
I've got to ask.
You don't.
I want Lyon.
She wants to win.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a tough question. I think you also don't want to jinx it and say one person and then you get someone else. And I think Lyon have won it many times. I think Chelsea are pretty hefty this season, and I think Arsenal are in a great run of form.
Yeah.
So any of the teams will be tough, and I think whoever we draw, like, we have to bring the game to them and just do what we can to get to the semi-final.
You're a bad guy, you know.
I know, I'm really sorry. I felt bad when I
Yeah,
asked
that was tough.
Yeah, sorry.
That was tough.
But regardless, being back in the knockout stages for the first time in 4 seasons, it's just a really exciting adventure as well for the team, regardless.
Yeah, I think it's super exciting. I think we're a relatively new team. There's quite a few new players, especially maybe coming in January. And for us to get that opportunity to sort of perform and showcase and compete and hopefully progress in the competition, especially in Europe, I think when you look at, the competitions that you want to be in, I think a lot of players will come to teams that are competing in the Champions League and say, oh, a big factor in me joining was because they were playing Champions League football. And I think, to be back in it after 4 seasons and especially to get into the knockout stage, there's only 8 teams, and it's probably the best 8 teams in Europe that are playing. So there's not many more difficult or more exciting games.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask, because you've obviously tended to play right back at City so far, but you tend to play centre back, didn't you, for Bristol? Do you have a preference, or do you feel like you're obviously a very versatile player and intelligent, so you can kind of put your you can put your hand. I'm trying to make up for that question now. Do you feel like you can kind of put your hand to both, or do you have a preference of which one you kind of maybe see your future in?
I mean, I think I'll play wherever Gaz wants me to play. I think I'm a centre back by trade, and I'm probably more defensively minded. So maybe sometimes if I'm needed at fullback and you want a defender, because me and Kirsten are very different players. You see her assist at the weekend. She's underlapped and put in an unbelievable cross. If I'm there, I don't know if I'll make that run.
He's going to support it instead.
I'm supporting from behind.
Of course.
I think there's potential for me to add that to my game. But I think because I'm more of maybe defensive minded and centre back by trade, I like defending. So I think, I don't know. I think going forward, maybe trying to hone my skills at centre back, but equally things change, and it could be that Gaz and other coaches and whoever I'm playing for says, we think that you look like a really good fullback and we want to try and play you there.
In that centre-back position, what would you say your biggest strengths are?
I'd probably the defending.
Which part of it exactly? Like, you're talking about the battle of it, the reading of it, tackling, what would you say? Or rather, what do you enjoy the most about it?
I mean, I enjoy the battle and the duel, and I think trying to be aggressive and front-footed. I do like reading the game and trying to be in the right position and compliment my teammates and, I don't know, be intelligent, as you say.
Also, you like giving super chill vibes, but you're a bit more aggro on the field.
Yeah, I mean, the assistant Nikki said to me today, "Hey, you're so chill all the time." Like, we were doing a passing drill, and he was like, "Yeah, come on," like, and I was like, "Oh, but
It's who I am. Don't change me."
Yeah, but I think when it comes to then defending, like, I'm not afraid to get stuck in.
Yeah, good.
I suppose that does help you with your game, though. I imagine sort of just staying relaxed and enjoying yourself.
Yeah, I think, I'm on the pitch. I might not always look like I'm enjoying myself because I'm very focused, but I am enjoying myself. I promise. But I think, being relaxed and trying to be level-headed and not get too up and down, it does help you on the pitch and just sort of be consistent.
Yeah.
Also, she's got to enjoy the defending. It's 1 goal in her career so far. You've got to find other things to celebrate.
So far.
so far.
Listen, I made a point of saying it. I know. Fair play.
Yeah. Have you always been a centre back, even as a youngster?
I mean, no. When I was a lot younger, I was a midfielder.
Right.
And then sort of when I went into some of the England youth underage teams, like under 15s, one of the coaches, I think he looked at me and thought, oh, you're quite tall and quite good defensively, and I think you should be a centre back. And I thought, okay. I thought if it's going to get me playing for England, then I'll try centre back. And I think, yeah, I do enjoy it, and I think it does play to my strengths.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is that a big ambition for you then, getting into the seniors soon for England? Have you sort of set a marker or a sort of a target, or is it just a case of at some point I want to be there and I know I can be there?
I mean, it's difficult in terms of setting a goal, because there's so many things that are out of my control that will play into that. I think it would be an absolute dream to be able to go to the Euros in the summer, but also I know that there's a lot of things that are between then and now, which can change and which could go for me or against me. And I think there's other great defenders that are playing in England and playing abroad that are English, and it'll be for Serena to decide. But yeah, my goal is to be playing for England. I think it would be amazing to go to the World Cup in Brazil in 2027.
I think,
yeah, 2027. Yeah. So I think that is a goal. But in terms of the summer, it would be amazing. But I need to focus on getting in and playing well at City, hopefully. And then if that happens, then potentially opportunities could come if the cards fall right.
I suppose as well, you talk about the other centre-halves that are at England, and I mean, you've got Alex Greenwood for one, City. She is obviously one of the best in the business, and we've got Lyra Alexandria as well, Alana Kennedy, who's obviously just left but very experienced. Rebecca Canuck's just come in. These more experienced centre-halves you're playing alongside, what have you maybe learnt from them so far or taken into your game from the short time you've had a chance to play or train with them? Yeah,
I think both Alex and Lyra, and I mean all the centre-backs you just mentioned, are great players. And I think, yeah, a lot of them are very front-footed and very aggressive, and they do all the little things that you don't notice. And unless you're literally just watching them, you probably wouldn't see it, because you think, oh, how have they just made that look so easy? And you thought, oh, well, it's probably because they're in the right body shape, or they're front-footed and they've read the ball and they've checked their shoulder and they've done all the things that they need to do to prepare them for the action that then they make look really easy. And I think learning from them and also watching them in games and playing with them in training is the little things that sort of set them apart, I think. Because also like decision making on the ball and just being able to read opposition, and yeah, I think it is little things. Yeah.
It's 100% true that, because I think from when I played as well, if someone makes something look easy, like you think, oh, how's that the case? Especially when they're playing against so many great people. And a lot of the times it is the little details, it's the anticipation, the decision making, the check of the shoulder, as you say, their awareness. And I think you being in that sort of environment, that's exciting for you. Yeah. It's very, very exciting, yeah. Some really good players there.
But being relaxed and like quite a relaxed character must help as well, because you are just constantly absorbing that information and being open to absorbing the information as well. Yeah. So character's key as well, I imagine.
It's cool to be chill.
Yeah.
Just a chill guy.
Just a chill guy, yeah.
Just a chill guy,
yeah. And you mentioned before we started recording that you're obviously from Gloucestershire, and so coming up to Manchester was the first time you've kind of been away from that area with Bristol as well. So how have you found it up here so far, off the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the city. I think it's maybe not as green as I'm used to.
Yeah, valid, yeah.
But no, it's a nice city. There's a lot going on. Like, there's some really nice areas. I love coffee and nice coffee shops and pastries and bakeries, and it's nice to go out. I think I will sort of be going out into the peaks and having a look around there, and some of in Cheshire there's some really nice walking areas as well. But yeah, it's a nice city. I think, I've met some really nice people as well, made some good friends, and I enjoy it so far.
She's turned into a city girl. I can hear it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
No,
I can
no,
see it.
don't say
Turned
that.
into a city girl.
Do you enjoy going? You've mentioned obviously the peaks in Cheshire and stuff. Do you like going on walks and hikes and things like that?
Yeah, I do. I think it's good for me to sort of get away from things sometimes and just be in my own headspace and I don't know, listen to a podcast, listen to music, read a book, just chill out.
So it won't be long. She'll be at home playing on a PlayStation like the rest of us city folk. That's what we do, isn't it? No?
Nah, you'll be at the top of Kinder Scout in Edale. That's what it'll be. That's what it'll be.
You say so.
That is a good walk, to be fair, if you get the chance. But there's quite a few of the girls that live in and around the city as well. So I imagine, do you get the chance to kind of all hang out together in and around the city outside of football as well?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, in teams you get on with certain players more, and like there's different girls that are friends, and especially because a lot of them have been in the team for a few years. So yeah, it is nice on days off if you're both free and want to go for a coffee, or I don't know, there's things to do. I don't know. I don't know what you can do.
Yeah.
But it's often just nice. I mean, we all went to the cinema the other day, and all what film did we watch? We all cried. The Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield film.
Oh, I'm showing myself up now.
This.
No.
The artsy
something
one.
time.
My wife's gonna kill me for this. I can't think.
But
Do we know?
we went to the Everyman.
I knew you were going to say Everyman.
Yeah.
And
she gets it.
there was a load of us there, and I think
Bit rowdy.
well, more tearful.
Right,
More
okay.
tearful.
Okay.
But no, it was nice to. I mean, I hadn't been to the cinema before. It was nice. I sort of went in and I thought, is this an art gallery? I was so
Really nice.
confused.
It is, yeah. It's really nice.
But it was really nice.
Producer Craig is furiously typing on his phone to find out this film.
Yeah, we live in time.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Time, yeah.
We can edit that in somehow and be like, "Oh, Live in Time, yeah, we live in
Yeah,
time,
of
of
course.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can't
Real
wait,
tearjerker,
can't
yeah.
wait to see it." Yeah, that's really nice though. Are there any players when you first joined that you maybe knew from? I assume England, maybe under 23s, you might have known a few. Was there anyone that you knew before you came to City?
Yeah, so I'd known Kiara and Gracie, and then Laura as well, and so I'd known the three of them sort of before I came, and had texted to say, "Oh, like I'm coming, maybe." But and then I think I'd trained once with the seniors before, so I'd met a few of the England girls, and Jess had been on 23s camp with me in 2023. So yeah, I was familiar with a lot of them, and then had some players that had mutual friends, so sort of said, "Oh, they're really nice. You should speak to them."
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they're all really nice, but
Yeah. I mean, you two have both experienced it. If you weren't aware, I have not had a career of playing football.
You haven't?
Not
Really?
yet. Not yet. You
interesting.
never know.
Yeah, there's
You
still
never know.
time. Still time.
Don't let these glasses fool you. What's it actually like when you have that first training session at a new club, and you know certain players, but there's also players, as you say, that you know of, and you seeing them there. How is it to kind of have that first session? Is it?
I mean, I think there's a lot of maybe thoughts that go into it before you go in. I think you want to make a good impression, and I think especially coming from a team that maybe people think you just got relegated, like how have you got to move to City from City? But we always get told to say Bristol City.
Yeah.
So I had to put that in there.
Well, I heard myself say Bristol earlier, and I was like, "Oh, I've messed up here." I know, sorry.
Not Rovers, but yeah. Anyway, I think you want to make a good impression, and also you sort of want to gauge where people are at and what the training's like, and like who shouts or who doesn't shout, and I don't know who's really nice on the pitch and who's a bit like in your face. And I think it's just that first session of gauging where everyone is and where will I fit in this, and you want to look good and train well.
Loki, it's super awkward, you know. It's super awkward. Like, "Oh, hi everyone. I'm such and such. Oh, good to see you. Yeah, cool. Let's go train." So we're training. And some people, like, they're all nice people. Some people like looking, is this person actually good?
Yeah.
You're trying to be good, but what does good look like to them?
Yeah.
And you kind of see them on TV, or you played against them a couple of times, but you don't know what they're like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
You don't have a relationship with the manager. Like, you don't know, like, the staff, and you're just out there trying to, like, fit in whilst not knowing how to fit in.
Yeah.
Super awkward.
Yeah.
But you get through it.
Like
Yeah.
putting a bit more on the passes and stuff just to see.
Listen,
how
you could try and do
are
that. Someone say, why are you kicking it so hard?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just slow it down. Then, no, fire it in.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll just do my best. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super awkward, but it's fine because, like, best of all, they want you there. So that's the thing. They're prepared to give you time, prepared to show you what you need to do. And they know that when you settle in, you'll be able to be the person or the player that think you're going to be.
Yeah. Was there anyone who you were like particularly impressed by in those first few sessions? Or was it like just everybody was at a certain level, you're really excited by it?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because before we went to Australia, a few of the girls hadn't joined with the team. So my first couple of training sessions, also I had a bit of a time where I wasn't able to train with the team because my medical hadn't gone through. So then it was actually in Australia that I was sort of doing my first sessions when I'd been in and around the building before. So I think, I mean, Yui, I was like, her awareness and she's so intelligent.
Yeah.
And she's always in the right place. And I was really impressed with you. I mean, I'm always impressed with her when I've played against her as well. I think, can someone just like man mark her, please? And then she still gets away. And I think, but yeah, Yui. And then also some of the attackers, especially the ones like Hempo.
Yeah.
When you're up against Hempo, you're thinking, this is going to be a long day. But also equally, you want to challenge yourself and go up against them and match against them. But yeah, I think Hempo and Yui, I mean, you could say the same for so many of the players.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I suppose as well, if, let's say, hypothetically, you're playing right back and you're up against Lauren Hemp, there's few players that you're going to come up against on a Saturday or a Sunday that are going to give you as much of a tough time as that.
Yeah.
So it's the perfect breeding ground, really, isn't it?
I totally agree. And that's the thing, like, training Monday through Friday, for a Saturday game, like, you do get tested. So when you then approach the next game, like, the person you're playing against might be different. But like you said, it's like Lauren Hemp. If you've had a good week against Lauren Hemp, you can have a belief that you'll have a good game against whoever's going to be up there.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Like, good players make better players as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's still very early doors, but how have each of the new signings got on in the last few weeks in terms of training? I know it's quite difficult for certain ones at time of recording to really know what they've done so far, but how have they kind of got on?
I mean, I think Bex has come in and sort of hit the ground running. I think she's been really good and sort of fitted into the system. She's so nice as well.
Yeah.
Really nice girl. So I think, yeah, she's come in and done really well. I think some of the girls said, I can't believe you've only been here for 2 weeks. Like, it feels like you're already like a part of the team, which she obviously is, and she's settling in really well. And then Carolyn has come in. I mean, because I've only sort of come back into training as well, I've only trained a couple of times with her, but I think she shows like really exciting traits. Like she's Brazilian. She's gonna be techie. And she's quick and she's direct and she scores goals. And I think, she's one to look out for. I think when she sort of gets into the flow and gets some minutes under her belt and can sort of hit the ground running, as because Bex came in at the start of January, Carolyn's only just come in.
Yeah.
So I think I'm excited to see what she can bring.
Really exciting. And that obviously just ties into the final thing I wanted to ask about, how excited you are for the rest of the season. New signings coming in, getting used to it, other players coming back into the fold, being fit again. It's a really, really exciting time to be part of this team, it seems.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're in 4 competitions and a lot of games coming up, and hopefully by the end of next week we'll be in a final.
Yeah.
And hopefully looking towards the next round of the FA Cup, and then I don't know, it is super exciting. And I think hopefully with players coming back to fitness and having like a full strength squad, we can show what we can do to the best of our ability.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Naomi, thank you so much for your time. We always finish the podcast by the guest leaving a question for the next guest, which also means that there's a question that you need to answer.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it is the most difficult question of the entire podcast, so just brace yourself and think about what you might want to say. Ian Brightwell, let's start again. Ian, put my teeth in. Ian Brightwell, former defender, wanted to ask what your favourite curry is.
See, I really like a Thai curry.
Oh.
Red or or green?
Red Thai curry. See, because when you said curry, I immediately thought, if I'm getting an Indian takeaway, what am I going to get? But then I thought, actually, I do really like a Thai.
Smart.
Red Thai curry.
Big fan. Fan.
I hadn't even thought of that.
That'll do.
Classic. I was like, it's like
one-dimensional you.
Tuna, jalfrezi, korma, what do you want?
Butter chicken.
Yeah, omelette. That's a great shout, though. Really good shout. And question for our next guest, if that's all right. So we don't know who it is. So it could be one of your teammates. It could be one of the men's first team. It could be
No Galgo.
Could be a City fan who's famous for something else. So the less football related, the better. But if you can't think of anything else, then go for it.
I'm trying to think of how to word this, but I guess if you're going for a sweet treat, like, what's your go-to?
Nice. That's good as well, because you can interpret that as a pudding if you want, but equally if you just think like a little snack instead.
A little Mao pinball.
I was wondering why you're looking over the old time.
I like that a lot.
Brilliant. Naomi, it's been an absolute pleasure. I had a really, really good time. Hope you have too. Thank you for coming on. Thanks, Nedum, as well.
Thanks for having me.
No, our pleasure. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
The unbeatable official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.